This is the Night Owls Disc Golf Podcast. I'm Shane.
And I'm JP.
And we got potentially a 2-part episode coming up here.
There's a lot of stuff that happened.
A lot. I mean, we could have an entire episode just on the AMA.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Oh, my goodness. We absolutely, yeah. That could be a whole episode by itself.
So this is all good stuff. So before we get into it, door_disc_golf, night_owl_pod is our Instagram. And then doordisc.com. Get all your disc golf needs. And if you are in the Green Bay area, stop in. Military Trail, North Military Trail. Let's make sure. So with all that being said, we do have a full indoor putting league, actually, I guess it's officially a true disc golf simulator now.
Yeah.
Playable. And we have had the first ace ever on a disc golf simulator, on the E-Link disc golf simulator.
Yeah, Matt
Yates got it.
Not on video, sadly.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is is there a video record option on the simulator? Could you just record your round and be like, hey,
pretty sure there is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can do recaps.
Okay, that's cool.
And I just don't know if he was savvy enough to pull that off.
Yeah.
I think he took pictures and screenshots of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there is. I don't know. I haven't played with it enough. I've only played it twice, and that's it. Let's segue into the next thing, is the indoor disc golf experience, which is next weekend, the 10th and 11th. Is that right?
Ooh.
Is that next weekend? Got to look up the calendar.
Yeah, right.
But,
I think so.
Yeah.
And Matt and Michael are going down.
Yeah, Matt and Michael are going to take the disc golf simulator and probably about half of our store down
Wow.
there.
Okay.
The Green Bay location will still be open, and we will be down at the indoor disc golf experience with the simulator. So some fun things going on there, and there will be little giveaways there.
Nice.
I don't know what it is exactly yet, because I don't think we've actually figured it out, but there will be something there, a little incentive to come to the booth and have a conversation with us. But I think outside of that, Barry Schultz will be there at the indoor disc golf event.
Yes.
And you can go in and throw in indoors, and it's kind of an ace race style. So hit metal 1 point, hit chains 2 points, stick in the basket 3 points.
Yep.
And you just add them all up, and you get, I think, 2 runs at each basket, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So
singles on, is it Friday or Saturday? And then doubles.
Friday and then Sunday.
And then Barry's also doing a
clinic.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on. So disc golf scene, it's on there. Just look up indoor disc golf event. Make sure it's at the Brookfield Sports Complex, indoor sports soccer complex, something like that.
Yeah, Brookfield, I think.
Yeah, it's Brookfield. Yep.
Yeah. Because there is also a Dubuque one.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. There's actually quite a few. When I looked it up, I was like, holy moly, there's a lot of indoors. But
Barry will be at the other one along with.
Yes.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. It has all 3 of them. It's actually Barry is at ours. Dubuque has Emerson, and then Philo is in Rockford.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Showers does all those, if I remember rightly.
I think so.
So, yeah. But our local state coordinator and friend of the show, Mike Harrington, does. He's technically the TD of the Brookfield one.
Yep.
All right. Well, hopefully we see you there. So, real quick recap, or not a recap. How about a little inside look into what we're going to be looking at? We're going to look at player movement. That's a long list. We're going to talk a little bit about Drew Gibson. We're going to do a little AMA, talk about the AMA. And that will also coincide with a little bit of House of Disc talk. We're going to talk ice baths, PDGA Player of the Year, and Brodie Smith.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Oh, this is just funny to get off right away. It's just a funny story. So Matt gave me all the login information for YouTube. Because I was going to put, he's like, hey, do you want to put the podcast on YouTube and everything? I was like, oh, yeah. Jane and I have been talking about it for a while, whatever.
Yep.
So he gave it to me, and I was kind of having some trouble. I texted you, and I was back and forth with him on Instagram doing stuff and sending codes and whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, get everything. I just clicked populate on the podcast. And so first day, 100 episodes download to YouTube. And then it was like, okay, you have to that's enough for today. Like it cut me off. And I was like, oh, all right, whatever. And then the next day, the rest, like the next, I was thinking it's like 176 episodes.
Yep.
I was like, wow, that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. And so the next 76 took, like I got back home from work and they were all downloaded. Matt texted me. He's like, "You are a madman."
Yeah, exactly.
I said, "I just clicked populate. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but all of them showed up.
All of them. Yeah.
So we are on. All the episodes are on YouTube now. There are some video ones.
Yep.
Like we do have some with Ben that are season 2, early last year.
Yep.
That are video, and then the rest are mostly. Audio, and then I think we also uploaded to iHeart Radio, and I think we're working on Amazon as well.
Yeah, it's weird. So I guess the shop has an Amazon account, but it's under doordisc@gmail.com. And I have not been on that in so very long.
Yeah, right.
So I'm trying to figure out how I can get the password to that figured out.
Right.
So I'm in that process right now. Yeah,
but just trying to branch out to more avenues for people to listen to us. Whatever.
And if all else fails, I'll just create another account.
Whatever.
Yeah, but,
no big deal.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. So sending you verification codes but it was actually funny when you posted 178 episodes, and I was like, whoa, that's a lot. Like populated on YouTube right away. So
the videos for Door Disc jumped from, I don't remember what it was, but it's up to 220 something. It's like just watching the ticker go up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that's pretty fun.
Yep. But I was, so the big difference in that is that Google Podcasts became YouTube podcasts. So they stopped doing Google, and then they shifted all the Google podcasts to YouTube. But they didn't say, hey, I'm going to import all these podcasts. It just said, no, we're no longer doing Google Podcasts.
Okay.
We're only doing YouTube, so set it up on YouTube.
See, and that's where I didn't realize. I thought I was just setting it up for the podcast or the YouTube music thing. I didn't realize that all of them are just going to be like, hey, here's Door Disc Golf's page. Yeah. You have all of night access.
Well, and that's good, though. I mean, like for us, it's just populating media because we got some good stuff going out there right now. Now it's just having people, step into it. So, I think it's fun. I think it's going to be fun to be able to go back and look at some of those YouTube videos, especially with like the three of us. And then when we were doing the two of us, or when we did a couple of our early with Jeff Hofstra. Yeah. And we had some of the Bobby episodes as well. I was actually going to reach out to Bobby and see if he could send us some of the ones that I did while we were on break. I was with Bobby doing those. I think it'd be pretty cool to populate some of those on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because I think he's officially like not doing anything with disc golf. I mean, he may come back here and there, and we may have a guest appearance every once in a while, especially with this House of Disc thing.
Yeah, right.
But I know that we reached out to him tonight, and he just said he wanted to take a little more time because that hits close to home for him. In reality,
sure.
So he wants to take a little more time, kind of figure out and get his brain wrapped around everything, and then hopefully we can get him on for an episode.
That'd be nice.
A good conversation about it.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. So good work on doing that, though. I don't know how much work it was, but
it wasn't too hard. But it really was just, hey, put the RSS feed and then be like, click, here we go.
Yeah, exactly. And watch it roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So I'm glad we're back up on everything because I know for a while we were everywhere. And then all of a sudden, like, all the podcasters apps just started dying.
There were a couple that just kind of died off.
It just
like
went
Slacker or whatever it was is called. Google.
Yep.
And there might have been another one because when you go to populate, you can kind of see who they are. And Apple and Spotify will automatically kind of send them out to certain other ones, but you do have to go to some of those bigger ones and put your RSS feed in and then ask them to distribute it as well. So
yep. Well, and then like Anchor disappeared as well.
I mean, that turned into Spotify.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they dropped all the auto anchor stuff that used to happen. It was weird, but and then Apple did a weird thing. And it's funny because a lot of people that have done podcasts for a while, because we're going on 3 years now?
Yeah, something. Yeah.
3.5?
Yeah.
Somewhere around in there?
Yep.
Because he's 21, right?
Yeah.
Jeez, it has been a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe it
You know
was
what's
22.
funny? You know what's funny is I still labeled things as season 2 the past couple weeks. I was like, technically, I think we're on year 3.
Yeah, I think so.
So we're going on like year 4.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think we are on year 4
Yeah.
because I think we started in 21. I think is when
I think
we first
that's
put
it,
our
yeah.
first episode out.
Right after the shop opened.
Yep.
You know.
Because it was January of no, it would have been January 22.
22. Yeah.
It was January 22.
2020, yeah.
But yeah, that's still. I mean, 3 years. Yeah, it's because it's officially like
22,
tomorrow.
23,
It'll
24.
be 3 years.
The 6th?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang.
There you go. Well, happy
All right,
anniversary.
happy anniversary to us. All right. Thanks for all those people that have stuck with us.
Yes. So the thing that Apple did recently, well, it was probably about 6 months ago, but I don't know if a lot of podcasters have realized, is that they actually did this update where if people hadn't downloaded or listened to their downloads, Apple just dropped them from their list. I don't know if you've noticed that with your podcast
little bit.
selections, where you go to look for something like, hey, where did it go? And all of a sudden it's not downloading or anything anymore.
I noticed that. Yeah. Like listening to a couple of disc golf podcasts, they just kind of fell off the back. Or if you go into your library, I think they're way down at the bottom now. If you
Yes.
scroll down, it's like, okay, you haven't listened to this in a while.
Yep. And they don't auto download, which means it doesn't count as your listeners.
Yeah.
So it really messes with numbers on the back end of the podcast. But, for us, I mean, it's never been about the listeners. It's been more about talking about disc golf and having fun. And,
Right.
So when you get focused on listeners, like it's nice to see the big numbers because we've had bigger numbers than we have now. Mm-hmm. It's nice to see the bigger numbers, but it also, then you start chasing. At least that's what I started. Like, what can we do? We need to do this. We need to do that. And then all of a sudden you're like, this is a job now. Like, it's not fun. It's not like two
Right.
dudes just.
And I'm going to
chatting.
be honest, that's kind of how it felt for a little while.
Oh, absolutely. It did.
Yeah.
I mean, hence the break. Like,
Right. Yeah.
so, but we're back. So, what do we want to start with? We want to start with player movement?
I think we can get through that stuff a little
quicker.
And then the real juicy thing is the Ant-Man, like House of Discs stuff.
Sure.
I mean, there are some juicy kind of player details.
Yeah, there's a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll just work our way to the.
Yeah. We'll gradually
stuff,
work
yeah.
into it. So, first, Robinson Brothers. So, both gone from Prodigy for sure now, 100%.
Yes.
Ezra is going to and has committed to Discraft.
Yes. That was put out pretty early.
Yep.
Like,
Second, I think.
Yeah.
First or second.
the Discraft video, I think, dropped on the 2nd.
Okay.
I think Ezra announced either late. I forgot how to go. Announced either late New Year's Eve or like New Year's Day. I forgot how it went. And then Isaac announced as well. He has come out and said that it was going to take a couple days for his announcement.
Right.
I don't know if he's waiting for things to settle, what the situation is, but it's dragged on a couple days now.
Right. Well, it's fun.
It is.
He's having a lot of fun with it. I
Oh,
mean,
yes.
he is trolling with the best of them.
Right.
It's fantastic, some of the stuff that he's been doing, and he's really pushing everybody towards Discraft. Like all of his hints, Discraft and Discmania are the kind of two that he's pushing
He was
towards.
out throwing a gravity bomb with Alden and like those guys.
Yep.
I mean, people think because Ezra's at Discraft. Because there's a sneaky. So did you see the AI? Like someone typed in AI, where is Isaac going? And
Yes.
it said Climo Discs.
Yes.
And then someone else on Reddit they posted that. They're like, oh, maybe Climo's collecting world champions. He's gonna have Paul under there.
Oh, sure, sure.
Isaac, something
So
like
Climo's starting his own thing.
right under Discraft, like
Yeah, okay.
kind of if that
like
were to
the
happen.
Disc of Champions, like we were talking
Yeah,
about. And
right.
then
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
that would be
so awesome.
that would be awesome. I don't know.
And then Koling comes in,
Yeah,
and then he's just not a champion.
I mean,
well, he's still
US.
the cool uncle.
US
He's a US champ. That's right.
Yeah.
He's a Waco champ, too.
yes, that's true. But so, along with this Isaac thing, there is kind of a rumor that he could be going to Lat. Now, Lat has teased a picture of somebody with a backpack,
Yep.
looking
And a
out
hoodie.
over. I don't know what the city is. It's somewhere European, like probably in Sweden,
Right.
looking out over the city. I mean, it could be Jonathan. It could be, someone like that. But
Yeah.
I would guess there's going to be a reveal of somebody under that. And it kind of made me think, too, that, as Isaac said, there's going to be some time taking. I'm like, well, are they editing the video, like editing the announcement video, like what's taking so long?
Lat 64 and Jonathan, they have been super silent.
Yeah.
Super silent. I have a lot of speculation behind that, but it's probably because they're doing all these player releases.
Could be.
Because they've talked with Kirsten a couple times. Like, yeah. But for the most part, they've been radio silent on YouTube.
Yeah.
And usually he does 1 or 2 videos a month.
Yeah.
Is about where he's at. And we haven't seen anything really.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. Maybe he's like, they got the Robinson video to do, and they got the Ricky coming back to Lat 64.
That would be something.
Because they're, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. So, Isaac, I think it's Lat 64. I don't know if there's any, Discraft, Scoops Up, seems to be everybody.
Yeah.
Over the last 3 years. But Lat 64 is in desperate need of somebody. And Isaac fits, and I think that's just the direction they're going to go.
What better place to have world champions?
Right.
As well,
Right. And they need an MPO, a standout MPO.
They do. They have Albert Tom, they have Silver, Johnny, but nobody young and like, I don't want to say exciting, but
right.
They're just not a top level player.
Yep. And maybe another reason why he hasn't said anything, I think he knows where he's going, but I'll just throw this out there. Maybe companies just aren't offering what he wants. So that could be another thing. But I don't think that's the case.
No.
That's just something to throw out there.
Yeah.
Burridge leaves Lone Star.
Yeah.
Officially. Which, dude went and picked up a van, drove it back to LSD for him. Like,
True.
Mid-season.
Mid-season, yeah.
Seemed like a pretty, like under the banner type of guy.
Yeah. Right.
But not anymore. Not anymore.
He made that pretty clear, too.
Yeah.
With his, I think it's always funny, everybody that comes up with these videos, I'd like to thank, them for supporting me for the past couple of years, getting to know especially with Lone Star, thanks to the Dillards, yada, yada, yada. But I have this sinking feeling that people are like, I'm just gone.
Yes,
I'm so
exactly.
glad to get
I want someone to just put out a video and be like, I'm leaving. And then deuces. That's it. Just walk away. Don't say anything nice.
Short and simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be like, didn't work out. Deuces.
Yep.
So Burge is out. Let's say Carrie's left Lone Star Disc as well.
Carrie's also left. Yep. Both of them.
Purposely skipping this one because that'll be a bigger talking point.
Because they both asked, where should we go? So it doesn't feel like
they have a place
yet.
Right.
Right. Yeah. They both said that down on the bottom of their where should the carries go next. So it seems like they're kind of out there looking for somebody.
Yep. And who knows? Who knows what take it?
Deanne's a solid MPO
Yeah.
player. She places pretty well usually. AJ, middling. I don't know if
I've
really
even seen him really even play recently. Yeah.
Not really.
At one point he was late 2000 teens, you know, he was pretty good, but I think he's just kind of slowly just dwindled away. He's had other focuses, you know, because what do they do? Is it Edge or what's theirs?
I don't remember.
They have that foundation that they
I know what you're talking about. But it could be Edge.
I forgot what it is. I think it is Edge, Educational Disc Golf Experience.
That could be. Or is that
That's not the Yetis. Yeah, maybe that is yours.
Yeah, I think that is.
Then what's the other one? Because it's not his, it's the other one.
I was thinking of Eagle's Wings, but I don't know if
that's the faith-based one.
Right. I'm not sure.
By Dustin. And then, well, anyways. And then you got Emily Weatherman picked up by Innova.
Yes.
Which is a nice young player.
Yeah,
picking up.
Getting the
good
rookie
FPO
of the year.
Squad. Yeah. Good FPO squad. So, and they picked up a lot of Europeans too, Innova did. So that'll be nice when they take over the Emporia or the or Prodigy's warehouse and start their second warehouse. And then we got Marweed and Redolin staying at DGA. And then 2 talking points now. So Jeremy Koling, big germ, after 6 or 8 seasons, leaves Innova.
Yeah.
So, and it seems like he made the choice to leave Innova.
That's what it sounded like.
Yep. And seems like he's going in like kind of whole ham with another round. I don't know if he has another manufacturer sponsorship yet.
I think he's always been kind of in with them from what it looks like. He was just at another round Charlotte doing a store appearance from what I saw in a video and like a couple of leaks and everything. I am kind of, I mean, this is shocking news to me.
I agree.
Especially like, I think it was, gosh, I don't remember, 2021, he kind of said he was going to be Innova for life. I think that's when it was, and around that time, 2021 or so. In an interview, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm Innova for life."
Well, and why wouldn't you run the Swirly Thunderbirds to death?
Right.
You know, like he's making bank off of that.
I would guess so.
Unless Innova said
Sexton. Well, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, those Swirly Thunderbirds, I mean, people loved those things.
Yeah.
Like they as soon as you, I mean, if you even were able to get some, you know what I mean? It was just one of those. They were great discs.
Yeah, I have one. I think it's great.
Yeah. So Koling is a huge surprise. A huge surprise to me. That is not flipping the disc golf world upside down news.
No, but it's big.
It is.
And there's speculation about, is he more focused on Jomez Pro, just doing that, going in on that. Someone thought maybe he could join the Go Throw Tour.
Right.
And be head up that or
Yep.
be involved in that in some situation. Who knows?
But there is no way that Innova didn't try to keep him.
Oh,
in
no.
my humble opinion. He's one of the
Absolutely not.
few
Right.
players that are worth his contract. In these recent years, there's maybe been 2 or 3 players that have been worth their contracts.
Yeah.
I mean, Kona was for sure by one of them, but Koling definitely steps in there as one of the players that is worth their contract because it's not only the media, the personality. I mean, and he's that fun-loving uncle. Like everybody likes him. And he sells discs.
Oh yeah.
So, and this is like. And this is a crack on Kona and Ricky. And, we talk about some of the bigger signings that have happened recently. And that's the only reason I pick on them. It's not at their character. It's at the choice that the company made. It's not their fault. It's not Kona or Ricky's fault. But the choice that company made, how are they worth that?
Yeah.
Koling, Simon, Macbeth, and
Kirsten.
who else? And Kirsten, yeah.
Maybe Paige. I don't know.
Pierce?
Yeah.
I don't know,
tough to say. Yeah.
Maybe. I'll put her on the pedestal of maybe.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I can't think of anybody else that's pulled plastic. And I wouldn't even put Eagle in that realm because I don't think Eagle moves the plastic like
I think it was tough this year. I mean, Eagle came back this year and played pretty well. I don't know if he had enough wind dragons in him to, make bank.
No, exactly.
Or,
Well, and to recoup the amount of money that undisclosed amount of money.
Yeah.
But, we know a couple of contracts and we know that they're not pulling that money in, guaranteed. But, Koling, on the other hand, he's worth every dime. And he was probably worth more. So whatever Innova offered him, and he was still able to walk away from that, man, he must be getting a good deal somewhere.
I would hope so.
He must be. Hopefully, he's getting a good deal somewhere.
Right? That's the part that boggles my mind. If you want to leave that badly, yeah,
You have to.
You have to. Right?
Yeah. There's a lot there. There is a lot there to think about and consider because wherever he's going has to be paying him well. Now he's at the twilight. He said it himself. He's at the twilight of his game. Man, I hope that his contract is public.
Yeah.
So we can kind of see what it's going to look like.
It'd be interesting. He did confirm on an Instagram comment that he will not be going back to Prodigy.
No, yeah, it was just a straight
It's like, no.
He didn't say it to any other
No.
manufacturer. It was just straight no. So, man, Will, like, you got a lot of work to do. Because who is he going to pull in? I mean, maybe Climo still. I'm still like, I know he's not going to Discraft, let's say. Yeah, right. If he doesn't go to Discraft, where else is he going to go?
What if Germ could go to Discraft too?
I
He
think
could
so,
be
too.
on that team with Yuli, like the Legends kind of team.
I agree.
There.
I agree. It would be really fun to see him in like him, McCabe, Yuli, Climo.
Yeah. Oh.
Like you see all these legends like
Yeah.
Nate
Yeah.
Doss, and because Nate's on the Legends team now, right? Too?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So speaking of legends, living legends, current legends, Simon Eagle, they walk away from Grip after 10 years with Grip.
Yeah.
They both walk away from Grip.
It's not surprising because I think Simon, even when he signed with MVP in a video that when he signed, said that he would remain with Grip for at least a year. And MVP wants their players to carry their products.
Yep.
So it was only a matter of time before that contract ran out and they both kind of were like, had to move on and use MVP
Right.
stuff.
Yep.
There was speculation that they could probably, maybe they both went in on it or something, that they will have a signature bag. It'll be a Simon bag or an Eagle bag. I would guess that they helped design one.
Right.
I haven't seen I'm not too familiar with MVP's bags. Like I haven't seen them.
They just
enough.
released a entry level bag, brand new drop. It came along with the. It was dropped the same day as the mystery box. I mean the Gyropalooza boxes.
Okay, I did kind of see MVP when they put out the video for the Gyropalooza boxes and everything that they do in the factory.
Yeah.
I do remember seeing a bag. I don't remember what it looks like specifically, but
They're real nice bags. Good color, ways like, and they're good like kind of bright, fun
okay.
bags, and their quality like, I would put them. One of the ones that I always say Prodigy is good for is their bags.
Yeah.
Prodigy has the BP4s, really nice bags.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Right.
Which are the kind of the smaller ones, like the canvas bags.
I know a lot of people did buy the, I think BP3s, right? Like they were
It
kind
was
of
the 3s and the 4s.
Yeah.
That we sold a ton of them. Like it was incredible how many we sold. I mean, we bought cases of them and sold them, and they're good bags. They're really good bags. These are by far better and at the same price point.
Okay.
Better design as far as like cup holders and bottoms and all that stuff goes. Higher quality. Really nice bags. I don't know really how many we've sold. We've sold quite a few, but I don't know how many we've sold out of the ones we brought in.
So is it the shuttle bag? Is that the...
No, that's the one that's made to...
Because it's backpacks out. It kind of looks like... it looks like one of the DD bags, like one of their entry level.
It does. It kind of looks not like the Trooper.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like the Trooper, but
Got
it's much better than the Trooper.
Got it.
Because we have the Trooper in shop. I think we have 2 more Troopers in the shop, and they're pretty nice.
All right.
So I'm assuming that the next drop they're going to have is going to be that high-end bag.
Yeah. Because Conrad has a signature bag with him too right now, and it looks pretty nice. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see, because they don't have any of those like high-end. I mean, they have a high-end bag, but it's not of Grip standards.
Yeah.
It's not that high-end of a bag. Because in my humble opinion, I don't think there's a better bag than Grip, especially for the price point, in my humble opinion.
I know Matt's big on Squatch. I think he's got 2 of them.
He does.
Yeah.
I don't know if he does anymore.
Okay.
But
He did. Like, I think he had one and then he bought another one. Gannon's coming out with a Squatch bag.
Yeah.
FC. A lot of people, I think, pound, super expensive, but a lot of people are saying they're really worth it. I don't know if I can throw that.
$500, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and it's nice. You can build your own, and
Yeah, like the Octothorpe and
but the amount of time you got to wait, and I mean, I used to think $230 was a crazy amount for a bag.
Oh, I did when I first got my grip bag.
Yes.
I was like, oh wow, this is a lot for a bag.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I have it.
Right.
Yeah.
My very first like high-end bag was a BP1. Was a Prodigy BP1, bright orange one. I liked it, but man, that orange faded so quick. But I mean, It was essentially a grip AX1, like a first series, grip bag.
Right.
So, and with grip and Paul Macbeth and with the PX1s and PX, I think you just have the PX1 right now. They're great bags, man. Like if I kind of almost wish that it wasn't a Macbeth branded bag because I think it would sell a lot more.
Oh yeah.
I think they would sell a lot more. And I think it's just the Paul thing. Love them or hate them. One of those deals.
Yeah.
So, so Eagle and Simon leave after 10 years. And they were kind of synonymous for grip. So,
yeah.
Let's jump right into another player. We'll talk Drew Gibson. And then we're going to talk Brodie Smith after that. And then we'll get into some of the
sounds good
stuff. So, let's talk Brodie Smith first.
Okay.
Since we're talking about player movement. Do you think Brodie is going to come back to Discraft? And or do you think Brodie is going to be left out to dry?
It's a really good question. I was like, oh, do you think we should talk Brodie? But yeah. So yeah, he's out of contract. I think he would probably be worth it. Because it seems that Discraft over the past couple of seasons, even though he hasn't played a ton, hasn't placed well, they know his value in the market as just being a celebrity.
Right.
They back him on pretty much everything he says on tour life. They don't get in his way of anything. I think it'd almost be foolish enough. I think it would be foolish to just not have him back.
I agree.
I don't know what his contract is, but I don't know if you can pay him as much as he wants, considering he's not going to be on a tour, but he's still he's kind of like Drew, right?
He's just going to pick and choose whatever he wants to do. And
yeah, I mean, Drew now, is more focused now that he's going to be off tour more, has the kid. He's going to do more. Drew's going to do more videos and do all the kind of more media stuff. But I mean, if Brodie does get back in and kind of refocuses and rebalances his life a little bit, rather than being like, I'm going to open some cards today and do whatever.
Yeah. Talk corgis and then we're going to go.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I think they should probably re-sign him.
Right.
And it's funny, Discraft usually, after the new year, puts out an elite team video. I haven't seen one yet. I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit. Maybe that's when they'll unveil Climo.
I agree. I think they have to. Whoever is picking up Climo, they have to do something.
Wouldn't it be amazing if Climo's under that Lat 64 backpack and
Would that be awesome?
Oh my god,
that'd be so great. It is hard. So we're gonna get back to Brodie because I got something else to say. But isn't it hard to think of Climo anywhere else but Innova? Like I think of Climo and I'm like, ooh, who would he fit with? Innova. Like I can't think of anything else.
I know.
My mind just can't. The only one that I can be like, yeah, he might fit there is Lone Star, and that's not a dig on Climo, but it's kind of that like outside of the disc golf norm.
Yeah.
And that's who Climo is. I mean, I know he's like the godfather of champions, like he's like the guy, but I just can't see him anywhere else.
Lone Star, the champion of the oil industry.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. It's this weird thing. I can't see him anywhere else but Innova.
It's hard to think about.
What, 4, 5, 6, 6 years ago? 7 years ago, could you have seen Paul anywhere else?
No.
Right? So, I mean, now I can't think of him anywhere.
Possibility.
Right. And now I can't think of him anywhere but Discraft. And I'm sure one day that won't be the case.
Right.
Maybe he'll be a legacy player forever, a legend of sorts. But I don't know. So, Brodie, back to Brodie. So, I think Brodie also has value in the fact that he has a mechanism to move his own discs.
True.
So, he buys signature discs and turns around and sells them. So it's not only is he a good image and voice and face for Discraft, whether you love him or hate him, he's still bringing attention to Discraft. And he has a mechanism to move his product.
Yeah.
So he is worth his money. He is worth the money that he's being
Yeah.
paid. Because essentially he's turning around and Foundation is buying 1,000 discs at a time with whatever Brodie's stamp is on it.
Or their own.
Right.
Yeah, they're buying all those. I think even they've reached out to MVP. Like they're just doing a ton of different
Just all
companies
kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now with that same mechanism, I think Brodie Smith would be better as a free agent simply because he can work in all those different.
Right. And that's what some people were thinking as well. Could he just focus on Foundation, be an open bag, and then just promote the heck out of whatever
he's
wants?
throwing?
Yes.
Yep. And he could put his Janus stamp on anything he wants or his,
Yeah.
he can put anything on any disc he wants. So if he wants it on a Envy, he can put it on Envy. If he wants it on a Harrier, he can put it on a Harrier.
Yeah.
Like, who cares, at that point? So, and I think he can reach a lot more people that way.
Oh,
And if he wants to put something on a pitch, if he wants to put something he can do that. And I think it would be good. I mean, and I also think that Brodie dove directly into a single manufacturer entirely too quick because I think there are other discs out there that he could throw that would probably suit him a bit better.
True. Yeah.
Because he's still very new to the game.
Well, I mean, it was the Paul connection. It was the connection with Ultimate, was it the Ultrastar?
Ultrastar, yeah.
That really, he felt probably pretty connected to Discraft at the time.
Right.
So,
Yep. And I get
just
it.
where it goes.
And that's the easy one to go. And, we knew from past that, DD was talking to him and like all these other places were talking to him. He just felt most comfortable with what Discraft was offering him. Because Discraft basically said, do what you want. You can play. We'll sponsor you as a player, not as a social media guy, you know? So that's cool. So I'm interested to see where Brodie Smith is going to go. And I think he can make some really, really good choices business-wise for himself and for Foundation. But it's probably really nice when someone's just holding a check and saying, I'll give this to you every month. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
yeah.
with Discraft, like, hey, this is guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Whereas he has to hustle and grind the other way.
True.
And I don't know if he's in a spot where he wants to hustle and grind that way. Because he's a hustler. Like
He is.
through and through. But I'm not sure if he's in that now. I don't know if he
Yeah.
really wants to be that.
Yeah.
So, and another thing with Koling is his buddy and partner in arms, like on Jomez, is with Discraft.
Yeah.
So could be just making that switch too. So that's
Very could be easy.
another argument for Koling and Discraft. All right. Brodie's Drew Gibson. We'll talk Drew Gibson. So Drew Gibson has been putting out some absolutely amazing videos.
They've been
In
good.
my humble opinion. I think they've been great. Like, so this last one he put out, and it was so funny because you started sending me stuff, and then I started looking, and I got a text from someone else, and then
really?
I marcoed, and then I marcoed Bobby.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
And so all this was going on. Then all of a sudden, like maybe about 2 or 3 hours after everything was going on, Drew dropped his video.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my goodness, this is really happening because he's got connections everywhere and he's not saying everything he knows.
True.
So the beauty about, and this is why I think his videos are a lot better than people are giving him credit for, because whatever Drew says, comes from a place of knowledge, and he's not giving all of the knowledge,
Right.
if that makes any sense.
No, it does.
So
Yeah, it's very informed information that isn't totally biased.
Right.
And I think
it's like we're receiving redacted videos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's not leaving it all out, but he's leaving some of it out.
Yeah.
And so whatever he's reading, if you read between the lines and if you can like read between that redaction, like there's a lot going on that he's not letting everybody know, you know? So I really enjoy his videos. He talked about House of Discs, and he talked from a position of knowledge that he was there for 2 years. So he was at DD for 2 years.
Yeah, he was. That's right. Yeah.
So he did know people. And he said some of the biggest issues that DD had were upper management. In the 2 years he was there, he had 3 different team managers.
That's wild.
That says something. That's crazy. And every time a team manager went away, Eric McCabe stepped in, and then a new team manager kicked in, and then an Eric McCabe, and then a new team manager. So it is true. How can you really get things moving if you have that much turnover? Essentially every 7 months, you have a new team manager.
Yeah.
8 months, that's crazy.
Because Robert, or not Bobby, but McCall. He was team manager for a little while, and then he left, and then Emac had to fill in.
Emac, yep. So Gibson was pre-McCall.
Yep, he was. Yeah.
I mean, McCall might have been there, but he was pre-team manager McCall.
Yeah, pre-team manager McCall. Yep.
But McCall left. And that was fishy, too.
Yep.
I mean, it was said that it was for his wife because she found a job and they wanted to be closer to family.
Yep.
But if everything's working out and there's no reason to go and you're making the money you want to make and do all, is there reasons?
Right.
Yeah. And we can't speculate. I mean, we can speculate, but we don't know the truth behind exactly why that happened. But for a person to completely leave disc golf after being such a high profile in disc golf is kind of crazy. But that happened to that whole team almost.
Yeah.
Anthony is gone.
That's a crazy. We'll get into that.
Yeah. Bobby's gone. I mean, McCall. I mean, so basically the entirety of Disc Golf Answer Man, Danny.
Yeah.
They're all gone.
They are gone.
And they're gone. Not in disc golf gone.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
It's crazy because when we get into... let's just jump into it. So we've talked enough about Drew, but I think Drew is dropping bombs. You got to get onto his YouTube page.
Because he's alluded to the disc golf world is going to be
upside
flipped.
down.
And we heard that, we saw that on Terry Miller's page as well. There was a couple people on there, I have big news I can't share, yada, yada, yada. Right. I think we said that last week as well.
Yep.
So it seems like something big is coming that many people know. Could it be player movement? Could it be something tour related or industry related?
Right.
Yeah.
And if it's not, it's still being said. And if it's not a new tour, and if it's not Koling leaving, if it's not, there's a lot of these big things that have already happened. What is it?
Yeah.
Is there a branch of a disc golf company that is going to go away?
Right.
So we'll do...
It'd be crazy if the tour left. DGPT is just we can't operate anymore. Deuces. Go through. You guys got it.
Man, that would be nuts. That would be so nuts. But it's possible. I mean, it's very possible, but I don't think so the way that Corns is going around still... Corns. Yeah, Corns, right? Jeff Corns?
Jeff Spring.
Corns is... Yeah. There's too many Jeffs. There's Showers, Corns, Springs.
I know, it's right.
Wow. So we'll talk to Ask Me Anything. On Reddit, there was an Ask Me Anything post that went up, and it was from the ex-director of operations.
Yes.
At Dynamic Discs.
Dynamic Discs.
And this person was there for 10 years. 8 to 10 years, somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
And there's a lot of really intriguing stuff. So he opened it up, asked me anything, and the questions started coming in. And they're still being answered. He's still answering questions as of right now. And he's being really good about it because he's saying, hey, I can't tell you as of right now because I'm not there for that. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you that in the past, this is what has happened.
And he also, a lot of people were asking directly financial numbers.
Yes.
Which he's not allowed to disclose. Mm. So that's off limits. He can kind of say not good, not bad, ambiguity towards things, but can't directly leak financial stuff.
Right. So let's get into financials real quick. So one of the questions I was asked is Dynamic Disc going bankrupt? Or House of Disc going bankrupt?
Yeah, something along
essentially.
Yeah.
What's the financial position of House of Discs? Mm-hmm. And he said, well, he can speak about Dynamic Discs. And what he essentially said is that there were frequent talks weekly about what bills to pay.
Yes.
And a lot of the times, the local vendors of Emporia were pushed to the bottom of the list. and the bigger vendors were paid. And so it started to sully some relationships in Emporia. So that's not a good sign.
No, not at all.
Another question that came up was, have you ever heard of discussions about dismissing players?
Right.
Specifically, Ricky and Kona, from their contracts about to help with financial. And he said, basically, he can't say that has not come up. Or that, essentially, he said, yeah, we've talked about it.
Yeah.
It has come up.
I think he actually said that there was talk of during the season that it was a possibility that high-profile players could be on the move.
Yeah.
Like something could happen to them.
Yep. That's pretty nuts.
Yeah. That is definitely nuts.
That is really nuts. And then he said that they were on verge of bankruptcy, or was there a question asked? I can't remember exactly how this one was. But essentially, the idea of restructuring to allow DD to go bankrupt and dissolve the company
Right.
is on the table.
Yeah.
Nuts.
That is absolutely wild.
Yep. And here is the last one. So having a conversation with Bobby, and I'll disclose this. I hope this is okay. So I did get a maybe next one from Bobby. So, and all sensitivity to Bobby, because we're just going back and forth. But in one of the questions, Bobby was brought up directly. And I think this is awesome. This is a great thing. And I want everybody to hear this very well. So, the good question. I don't know how far back your familiarity goes, but Bobby Brown did a lot for the brand. He was constantly working to create and promote content. I think his absence hurt more than expected, and there was never a full recovery. Removing the transparency that so many people came to know from DD after the acquisition was another shot in the foot. So essentially what they're saying is that the transparency that Bobby created within the social media realm of DD was that cultish following that was developed through that. So I'm one of those guys that was a huge fan of DD because of Bobby Brown.
Yeah, right.
And I don't know if there's many people that weren't. I mean, that team that Bobby had and the following they had, I mean, the following that DD had was really Bobby's following.
Yeah.
And I don't say it was completely Bobby's following, but pretty darn close to it. You know, I mean, he was the face of the company, and he pushed the envelope and the people there to do videos to explain what was going on. And that was his style. That's what he did. And he did a great job. You know, and so the one thing that I texted him, I was like, dude, you were and are a difference maker. I mean, that's what you do in social media.
Yeah.
You make those differences.
Well, he was ahead of his
wherever
time.
it goes.
He was way ahead of his time on the social
Way ahead of
media.
his time. Way.
And so, when the AMA came out on that morning, I forgot what day it was, Wednesday or whatever. I'm on this Disc Golf Fanatic. He's a blogger, and I said almost basically the same thing, that DD has lost their identity once Disc Golf Answer Man basically left. You know, that happened. Bobby left, all that. Then, you know, Danny and Anthony, they were pushing stuff out on social media. Like Bobby's, is this disc right for you? The podcast, all that. And then after that happened, it's like, once Bobby left, it's like they had no ideas.
No.
None whatsoever. They had no idea how to market anymore. They'd push stuff out here and there, but it would never be, you'd barely see anything with any of their players.
Right.
Or anything. And then the big news is, we're being acquired by House of Discs, and then Rusco buys Champions Landing. Like, that's big for them, but it's not. And then, you know, Kona and Ricky signed, which was funny that the guy said they had no idea about the helicopter thing. That was one of the questions. He's like, did you know about the helicopter? Like, no. It sounded, you know, he said it took like 10 takes. Like, I don't know how many takes they said.
Really?
Something like that. I was reading really far down into it because it kind of got weird. Or not weird, but people ask really specific questions about the company, if they ever got the someone said it seemed like a real, what was the term? Christian, like summer camp vibe from
Yeah.
at DD. He's like, I never got that, but they always kind of preached, DD as being family and
Right.
Togetherness. And after a while, it really didn't feel like that. It was people. He said it was hard for people watching people getting let go, because obviously that was happening, and that all this work had to go somewhere. So it's being pushed on employees left there, and it started leaving a burden. And so people really weren't having that feeling of pride for working for Dynamic Discs, and it just kind of brought morale down.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's really sad to hear.
Right. Well, culture is a funny thing. Culture is one of those things that is amazingly fragile, and it goes both ways. So it doesn't only start from, culture is really determined by the people that work there,
Right.
but it's guided by the people at the top. Mm-hmm. And when the people at the top, and I would consider, people like Bobby and Anthony and Danny and Rusco and
His brother
Jamie and Jeremy. I think those are definitely Eric. You pick those people out. These are kind of the figureheads of the company. And then you talk about Noemi and, all these. And
Doug left.
Bjerkes. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. And Doug left. So you have all these people that are there, and they were the pillars of that culture there. Mm-hmm. They were the ones that reinforced the culture for any new hires that are coming in. And when those people vanish, where's that vacuum?
Yeah.
And if that vacuum is not, it's kind of like the old corny movies when a hole in the side of the plane happens and people get sucked out windows and stuff. That's really what was happening.
Oh yeah,
they
definitely
weren't clogging that hole, and people were just getting sucked out this window. Mm-hmm. So for DD, it sucks. Now, when you see the issues that House of Discs in general, now we're done picking on DD specifically, but we'll jump into House of Discs. So I don't think it's centralized to DD. I think it goes all the way through House of Discs, because you look at what happened a couple months ago where they put the disc golfers back in charge.
Right.
So full story on that is actually what happened is they gave the option for the old people to buy back into House of Discs to actually own a portion of House of Discs.
Yes.
So that's how they put the disc golfers back in charge, because they said, hey, write us a check and we'll let you run these companies again.
Because I think Foundation, like Griplocked, did an episode kind of discussing House of Discs financial situations and things like that, and talked about UC came back in. He's got a certain percentage of House of Discs, and head of that, all that things. So one of the things that was on the AMA was that even though these disc golfers were quote unquote put in charge, they still have to report to these like corporate bigwigs about financial dealings and goings on. So there's still somebody above them that they have to report to, but they are kind of back in the fold looking over things.
Right. So the issue with investment companies when they purchase businesses is that all of the CEOs, so chief executive operators, the COOs, the officers, jeepers, creepers, they report to their shareholders. And these shareholders are the ones that you have to keep happy.
Right.
And the shareholders are only happy if they're getting a return on investment. So, damned with everything except for the dollar.
Yeah.
Right? That's sadly, that's the way it goes. Mm-hmm. You have to make sure you're making the dollar to make the investors happy, or the investors are going to remove you from your position and move you away. So I'm assuming when UC bought into House of Discs and these other people, they figured they had some sort of security because now they are part of the investment team. Mm-hmm. But we can give everybody 0.5% of something.
Sure.
Doesn't mean they have any control of it.
Right.
Until you're a majority owner or shareholder, or you're part of that executive team, you got nothing anyways. So, man, the idea that we could see one of the very early pioneers of these smaller companies, grassroots companies, die, it's crazy.
It is.
It's crazy. You know, and that goes for Prodigy too. But Prodigy, I think, has been swinging at death nails for like 5 or 6 years, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas DD, this is kind of fresh. And,
It is.
And it seemed like it was only because of the sell. Other than that, they were doing pretty darn good. You know? So.
I mean, the guy did say that obviously the Kona and Ricky situations with their contracts haven't panned out.
No,
like
not
there definitely was, the ROI is not there.
Yes.
They've lost big money.
And duh.
Yeah.
No surprise.
Right.
Ricky is probably a little bit of a surprise
I would think so.
because you think the Destroyers probably they move pretty darn well. His Raptor Destroyers.
Yeah, right. But I think people like Destroyers.
They do.
Because that's the thing. It's I mean, quote unquote, almost anybody has a Destroyer in their bag.
Right.
You know, that's the high-speed driver that
Yep.
is the choice of champions.
Yep. It's like saying, you know, any mid, like you've thrown a buzz.
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing. And with Ricky, they missed the boat, but I don't think they were in a different body of water. Kona was just a different body of water. Like
Yeah.
the boat was in the Atlantic and they were somewhere in the Pacific. Like
I mean, that it's unfortunate because she had the flash in the pan season.
Oh, sure,
And
sure.
then,
and she had a huge social media.
yeah.
Like she was doing very well, you know, and I think she was worth what they paid her because they were willing to pay her.
I kind of feel like it's right person, wrong company
Yeah,
fit.
I agree. You
You know, like she would do well with another company because DD doesn't market their players well at all.
Well,
I mean, and a lot of people are saying, well, it's on the players to kind of market themselves, but you should lean into your players to help marketing things.
Yeah, but like anything, do I put a new cookie on the menu without like putting it all over social media and
no.
making sure people know about
Yeah.
it? So and that's weird. I'm not comparing these people to cookies.
No.
But you know what I mean?
A new
Like,
product in
you
general.
put a new product out there. Do you think you just like go put it on the shelf silently and it's going to sell?
Yeah.
No. Like, do you think Feastables and Beastables like sell because they don't say anything about it? No, it's because every single freaking video there's Beastable bars, you know, or whatever
Yeah,
they are.
right.
You know, so why are we not doing the same thing? Like you have made an investment into this person. So push them like crazy.
Yeah.
I like what you said there. Right person, wrong company. I think you're right with Kona. I mean, I love to give her a heck. Like I love to just goof around. But I agree with you. I think honestly, Kona 2 years prior with Bobby's team probably would have killed it.
Oh, yeah.
And so would have Ricky. Like I think it would have been a completely different scenario.
The other thing that with Rick that they missed the boat on was what's that new disc that he had come out? General.
Yeah, yes.
$40.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. It was
Yeah, it was
insanely high.
$34.99 or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, what disc golfer is going to pay for an overstable disc that they can't barely throw
Yep.
for almost $40?
Yep.
That's crazy.
And the Supreme line are expensive anyways.
Yes,
they're
they are.
$29 essentially anyways.
I mean, the best Supreme line or Grand Plastic disc is
Yep.
the Grace. And you have the best female disc golfer on the world throwing it. And they're marketing the heck out of it with all of her, most of her like celebratory discs are the Grace.
Right. Yep.
And so they know that. They know people like to throw it. And that's
And it
they're gonna
is a amazingly throwable disc.
Yeah.
For everybody. Because once you buy one, it's not like, you know, kind of like some of the Raptor Destroyers. Like you bought one and you just put it on a shelf after you threw it once because it was so freaking overstable.
Sure.
The Graces, they are so workable. So you buy 3 or 4 because you want it to stay in your bag. Because
Yeah.
you love how the disc flies. At least that's how I was. And, you know, the General was one of those swing and a miss.
yeah.
Swing and a miss.
Well, even
But they also didn't do anything to promote it.
no, they didn't. They really didn't. They're like, hey,
Anything to
we got
promote
this
it.
disc out, and then Ricky maybe said something about it maybe once or twice, and then I was like, oh yeah, that came out.
Right. Well, and the first time Ricky was on the team on Lat 64, he sold the heck out of Felons. And
yeah.
the Felon was probably one of the most popular overstable fairway drivers in disc golf.
Yeah.
And they marketed the heck out of it, and he threw it everywhere. They talked about it. Bobby did so many, like, there was so much stuff marketing wise focused on it. They came back and they gave Ricky his new Felons, and they fell flat.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't move at all. And it was
Right.
because they didn't do anything for him, you know? So I think Didi missed on a lot of different levels, AKA House of Discs.
Yeah. And then he was supposed to have a cart come out. I don't know if that cart ever came out either. Oh, it did? Okay.
It did, yep. And so we were actually looking at it. The Ricky cart is called the
Combat cart?
Combat.
Or something like that?
It's something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we went to purchase it right now.
Because it's supposed to be like an R3 or something, right? It's supposed to be close to the Ridge Roller?
Yeah, essentially. It's replacing his R3.
Yeah.
And it's a nice bag. I mean, it's a really nice bag. And
Cart?
I wanted a cart.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring it into the shop, but you have to buy it through DD. You have to buy it through House of Discs. And the problem with House of Discs too, so here's the back end that most people don't know. So we've talked about all the public stuff. Now, the back end, their order fulfillment time sucks now. They used to be the best in the game. It takes them 2.5 weeks just to fulfill an order. And it's crazy. Like, I know you're not getting that many orders.
Yeah.
I think it's just a lack of staff. I think it's just they don't have enough people to pull the orders.
That could be.
Or who knows. But it was wretched. It went from the best company to buy from to probably the worst one to buy from.
Well, it's crazy to build at the time. Like, disc golf is booming. You build the new warehouse. You build this gorgeous new building. And then all of a sudden, well, we got to cut back on staff. Now you got this huge building, and you have people running around trying to fill, fill orders, and you're just overwhelmed because you are.
I'm glad I was able to get in there and look at that place. Kind of, it's post its heyday, but still at a good point. They still had the waterfall working. They still, but it's kind of crazy.
Can't pay the water bill.
Yeah, exactly. Shut it off. Too expensive. But even to walk through, like, get a tour through, like, the media area and stuff like that. I mean, it was a really, really neat place. It's sad to think that there's a very good possibility that it will not exist anymore. Sucks.
Yeah.
Because I remember talking with Jamie Rusco, and they had a plan that was a 5-year plan to buy the building across the street for them, which used to be part of the building that they purchased. To buy the building across the street from them to put molders in there, injection molders in there. That they were going to bring manufacturing to the United States for the trilogies. And this was pre-House of Disc.
Yeah.
So, but then Casaplast, everything. I mean, but think about, like, you got Casaplast, Discmania, DD, West Side, and Lat 64.
Yep.
All about to just be in big trouble.
Well, here's the other crazy thing that's someone else noticed. You can no longer buy Lat 64 or West Side now through DD's website. They all have their own separate websites. So it's not all under one house. Yep, you have to go individually to those. Yeah. And then I think someone else mentioned too, because I kind of commented on it on another post, that they were talking about a sale on Infinite. And I thought I heard that Infinite was going to stop carrying.
We talked about it last time.
Yeah, we did. Okay.
Yeah. You can't, wholesale wise, you can't buy it anymore on Infinite. So, yeah, it's nuts. Like, something's happening.
Yeah.
Something is definitely happening. And I think this big turn the world upside down, I think we're going to see a few brands disappear.
It's possible.
So, so collector's edition in the shop.
I think too, we've talked about it, naming scheme for them kind of hurts. It's not that interesting. Apart from some other stamps, their stock stamps, just the name, like the bar stamp or their regular one with, like, with the flight numbers and everything. They're boring discs.
Oh, they are. I don't, well, to the masses they are. I don't know if I agree, because I've always liked it, kind of. Like, just that simple bar stamp. Like, it is boring. I mean, there's no, like, flash. They don't do anything special. But you're right.
You could say that about other companies as well with their, regular stock stuff. But even Raptor Eye, kind of cool. Like that was cool. You know, once they got into, this is all of House of Discs, got into the Orbit Horizon thing, or
well, and they were the
Vapor,
first
like
one to do the burst.
Yeah.
So there was some really cool stuff that they came out with. Worst stamps, honestly, I know it's classic. People are going to really hate me for saying this, but Innova's stamps, I think, are garbage.
Okay.
Like, I think they're too old. Like, they've been the same freaking stamp since I started.
Sure.
You know?
Like you look at a leopard or a shark,
And you're just like, okay, cool. Yeah. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
MVP's killing it. I love their stamps. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of nuts. So, are we going to see House of Discs completely disappear?
I don't.
Or is that the big news? Is that Innova is taking over House of Discs?
Oh my God.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be insane.
It would be so great.
They just bought in. They're like, we're going to just totally.
Yeah, we're majority
dominate.
owners. Yeah. And all you disc golfers that run the company, please leave.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to sit in my office next to the presses and just.
Oh, man.
Oh, that would be fun to see, actually. I think to see a larger company buy it up. But I think ultimately what would end up happening is if another company sweeps in to buy something like this, they would end up in the same position.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really think disc golf cannot support that large of a company.
No.
Disc golf can support that large of a company, but man, the people that run it have to be just absolutely brilliant. Like, they have to be so good at what they do and kind of omniscient almost, kind of see patterns and know how to work with people. I don't know if I see anybody that would be that good.
Well, you know, with obviously, you see with Discmania was huge when he sold and House of Discs took over. I would think, maybe this was just me, I would be kind of happy if Discmania got back out from under House of Discs or Castoplast or some of those companies just get back to doing things their own on their own. Because I feel like they kind of were run a bit better.
I agree. Because they were all like, they weren't put in cruise control, and it wasn't just a rubber stamp, one size fits all. And that's what ended up happening. Because when we started seeing, because obviously this transition started happening a long time ago, because we started to see the same Italian bend plastic back in like 2011 on trespasses and things like that. So, you know, when Discmania decided, our new Italian bend plastic, I'm like, wait, I don't know if you remember that, but I was like, wait, we have trespasses right now in the shop that we've had for about 3 months that are the Italian blend plastic.
They're just not said that. They just didn't come out and say that.
Exactly.
Because like they're the ice or
Lucid Ice.
Lucid Ice. That was pretty much
that was the Italian blend plastic.
Yeah.
But we saw Lucid Ice stuff before it was called Lucid Ice, just in the stock stamp runs.
Oh, sure.
And it was we were just like, what? And I don't know if that was just a goof up by the stampers, just grab discs and fulfilling orders, but you know, so we've been seeing it for a long time, but I would like to see them kind of move out of their own, like you said, companies just kind of split back up.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't know. I don't know of a way that they could survive if this is truly the case. If they're truly going bankrupt, they're going to cut their losses, they're going to liquidate, and they're going to try to get as much money as they can. The investors are going to try to get back as much money as they can. And that's what's going to happen. Because if one branch is going, it's just like any tree. Once one's diseased, like just a matter of time.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time. So I would hate to see it because that is my bag is House of Discs for the most part.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I have anything outside of it. I have Discraft. I lie. I have comments.
Yeah.
I have comments, but
yeah, most of my bag is pre House of Discs.
Yeah.
Discmania.
Yeah.
I have a decent stock of stuff.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's MVP, it's Discraft.
Yeah. I guess I could start throwing MVP. I could really throw anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess I'm talking a bunch of crap because I got about 300 discs, so I'd never have to buy another disc and I'd be fine.
True.
Between my like PFN Innova stuff.
Yeah. I was just thinking about the discs I bought when Ricky signed. It was the harp, he had a glow harp that came out.
That's right.
The big,
yes.
I think there was a felon,
Yeah.
Ricky Felon. Yeah, because they had to redo the Ricky Felons because they were too overstable.
And then the daggers.
Yeah.
And then he switched to, what did he go to? Didn't he have his own putter made?
Thought he was going to.
Maybe he never got it.
I don't know. That's a big thing at Innova. They were going to remake
The whale.
The Whale. Yes.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So, well, there you go. So I don't know if there's anything else to talk about that.
I mean, that news, if there's a disc golf company that goes under, that's pretty flipping the but or maybe Drew's talking just player movement. Maybe Ricky moves on. Maybe he's just like done with House of Discs.
It could be. I mean, or maybe Ricky starts his own company, or who knows.
It's something unexpected.
Yeah.
So
is this a Prodigy shakeup, like 2012 Prodigy shakeup? Could that be the flipping it on the head where people are breaking off and doing their own thing and kind of disrupting the apple cart in that regard?
Very well could be.
Could be that too.
yeah.
And for new disc golfers, 2012, Prodigy started their own thing, ownership in the company for the first people that came over. It was like a % of ownership in the company. And they actually started paying disc golfers for the very first time as contracts.
Yeah.
And that was unheard of back then. You were only royalties, and maybe you would get some, swag packs and things like that. So that was kind of outside of like the top guys.
Yeah.
There was
my God.
nobody getting paid.
This reminds, just speaking of that, I saw a picture the other day of Team Prodigy, like early. It was Yuli, Paul, Paige, Katrina,
Paul Ulibarri.
Paul Ulibarri.
Yeah, not Paul Macbeth.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, maybe it wasn't.
Paul Macbeth was on DD
Shortly.
before they had discs.
Yeah, just clothing. That's right.
Yeah.
Was Nico? No.
Nico was there.
Yeah. So it was a
Koling.
stacked lineup. Like you could
Paige
compare.
Pierce.
Yeah, Paige Pierce. And it had all of them. And I was like, man, if you put that picture of them now up against, say, like Discraft's team now, it'd be like, which one's more stacked?
Exactly.
Like,
Prodigy's team was big.
Yeah.
Was big, and it was the players of the time. Like, yeah, you're right, because it had Koling, Yuli, Ricky, Paige.
Was Girthy there?
I don't know if Girthy was ever a Prodigy guy. I think he's been an Innova guy through and
Okay.
through. I think, but I could be 100%. I mean, I could be
I
wrong.
don't remember.
But yeah, we'd have to pull that one up.
Yeah.
But there's some people even like that. Kale, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's some people that were like OGs to the game. They were Prodigy people. So yeah, it's pretty neat. All right. So outside of that, the only other things that I'm seeing in disc golf media is ice bath rituals. Like, when are we going to be done talking about ice baths?
I don't know.
And for this is my 5th day, and then you never see him again. Like,
Yeah, like I think Cat Merch is one of the latest people I've seen hop on the ice bath trend.
I have too.
Yeah.
And she's been doing them every year. I've seen her like post about ice baths and stuff.
I
But
haven't seen Ricky talking about them as much as he used to. He's like, I've been getting people into ice baths. I think
Yeah.
he got Barella into doing it and some of these other people.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen Ricky talk about it much.
so have you ever done ice baths?
Yeah.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah. I back in high school, I did a couple. I haven't done them. That's been that long. But
Oh, really?
We used to, even when track season first started, we would just sit in snowbanks and like cover ourselves in snow.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah. And, you'd be out for a run and like, oh, don't let the lactic acid build up. So you just go sit in a snowbank and cover yourself in snow.
Yeah.
And, sit in it for a couple minutes and then.
Yeah. I started last November, and I mean, it's now to a point where when I get into like a 39-degree bath, like, it's not a big deal anymore.
Right.
It used to be like, all right, I got to get myself up, like, ready to get in. And now you just get in. Okay. After doing it for that long, and yeah, there was probably a couple months where I didn't do them. And right now it's completely frozen solid because I didn't put the.
I mean, beyond disc golfers, I see people doing them, and there's people out there like, oh, I guess I got to break the top. You know, they're taking a hammer to break the top of the ice off the bath and everything. I'm like, that's a little out there.
I've done it before, but I ended up getting a livestock trough heater, and you just plug it in and it keeps it probably at about 45, 46, you know. I had it once where I had because I have like a cover for the ice bath. I left the cover on. It was up to like 55 degrees. I was like, wow. That when I got in that one, I was like, this is awesome. Now, back to what I was saying. So I think it's a bunch of horse crap.
Oh, really?
I do. I think there's a mental part of ice baths.
Oh, absolutely.
That is very, very beneficial. I think that just having the ability to shut your mind off and say, I'm going to do this, and then do it. And it's super uncomfortable. Like all of that is very, very hard. I think outside of that, I don't know if I've truly noticed a difference in anything.
Okay.
You know, because they talk about brown fats. They talk about all those things.
Yes.
Like, I'm just fat. So, I mean, maybe there's brown fat there.
Yeah.
And then they talk about, like, your skin feeling better. And
I know I hear that about taking, taking hot showers compared to taking cold showers, like what it does for the skin, you know, what it's good for and all that.
Right.
I kind of heard the same thing one time. I was looking up something about drinking ice water compared to just drinking room temperature water and how that's supposed to help speed up your metabolism because your body's working to adjust the temperature of the water as it's going in and all this other stuff. Yeah, right.
And so for me, I think there is a recovery, and that's proven. Like ice and heat,
yep.
You recover quicker.
Yeah.
So I think there's a proven portion of that. So, you know, when I'm in like sore and I jump in an ice bath, I think the next morning I feel a little better. And I think there is a revitalization, like if you do them in the morning. So I've done them all parts of the day. I think getting in the morning, obviously it kind of wakes you up. It's like a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you about that. Like there is a perkiness to getting in an ice bath. But outside of that, like this whole, like, it changes your life. Like, no, it doesn't. Like, for me, only thing it has done is made me buy a few more towels. And I spend a little bit more money on conditioning tap water. Like,
okay.
You know, I got to buy some bleach tablets, like Clorox tablets, you know. But outside of that, like, I don't know if it's really done a lot for me, you know.
But maybe more people are just doing it for the mental endurance.
And I think it is very, very good for that.
Yeah.
I would never tell anybody not to do it because I think getting past that, it takes a long time.
Yeah.
And then it also takes a long time to tell your body to just like stop.
Chill out.
You know, like relax.
Yeah.
You're not going to die. Like it's okay. So it's that whole portion. I think it is very, very beneficial for you because it does allow you to do. And your resiliency to cold is so much better. Like living here, I don't get as cold. You know, it's just simply I don't get as cold. I'll be sitting in the living room and everybody has blankets and all that stuff on. And I'm sitting there like, dude, it's not that cold, you know?
Yeah.
So just that type of stuff feels that way. But I think outside of that, like, and I know there's scientifically proven benefits to cold baths or cold plunges. I guess I'm not physically feeling it, I guess.
Okay.
I'll say that. So recovery, mental, and outside of that, I don't know if there's really much for it, you know, so, but it's fun. And it's also one of those things you get your buddies to do it. It's really fun to watch them scream and squirm. Like it's so awesome when everybody's like, what is that black tub out there? So, oh, it's my ice bath. You want to go in? No. I was like, all right, well, it's not that bad, I swear. And you finally get it in. Like my brother-in-law screamed to the top of his lungs. It was the funniest thing in the world. Lucas, when he stepped in, he was like, oh my God. He didn't even go all the way.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is great. I love watching people scream. But both of my kids do them. Like Malachi will get in and then then he screams and gets out. But Gabby's like a trooper.
Oh.
Like 5 minutes in a 30-some degree. You know, she's just like, and I'm like, okay, Gabby, it's time to get out because you're going to start hurting yourself. Like,
sure.
You got to get out now. But yeah, so I think her longest one was like 5 minutes and 30-some seconds.
Holy
and it was like,
cow.
It was either 39 or 40. So it was like cold.
Yeah.
And that's a long time.
Dang.
Like talk about like around about 7 to 10 minutes, you start like, you can actually harm yourself doing it that way.
No, that makes sense. I can believe it.
Yeah. So
hypothermia.
The next one I want to try is saunas. I hear they're really cool.
Yeah.
I've only been in a sauna once, and I got really dizzy, and I had to
really?
leave. Yeah.
They have the rental one. Dortoni has the rental sauna that you can get.
That's not a bad idea. I wonder how much that is.
I don't know. I talked to there's a woman on my mail route, and she's like, "Oh yeah, my mom just rented it. We had it for a couple of days, and it was awesome."
I've seen it in the like roaming around on the trailer, here and there. I'm gonna have to talk. Because I think I know a guy that like one of my employees knows him. Like is good friends with him. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to ask him about it.
Yeah, we had some other friends too that invited us over one time because they rented it. And I was like, I don't know if I want to go sit with other people in the sauna.
That is weird.
Yeah.
That is weird. That's why I've never used the one at the Y.
Right.
Because there's always somebody in there.
Yeah.
So, and it's usually Slade Martin.
Oh, okay.
And as much as I love that guy, he just makes me feel bad about myself.
Oh, all right.
He's like 50 years old and jacked.
Yeah.
He's got
huge calves.
He is impressive.
Well, he used to do ultimate fighting.
Yeah. Well, I think he still rolls a bit, like still jiu-jitsu.
That could be.
Yeah. But man, it's like, I was just like, every time I get into that thing, I'm like, oh, whatever, man. So there you go. So ice baths, sauna, go for it. I just didn't see it. All right. Last but not least, PDGA Players of the Year. I don't think it's any surprise. It's Tatar and Gannon.
Yeah.
So it's not the Gannon show, though. So
no.
The only other thing I got to say is that I still feel that Holland Hanley still got screwed for the attention that she did not get this year.
Okay.
So I still kind of feel that because I listened to the Staggered Stance episode with her on it because I saw her name. I was like, ooh, she's on it.
Oh, yeah. She was just on recently.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to it, but I might get around to it.
She's like so positive about it too because she's like, next, I still kind of suck. And I'm like, dude, she doesn't say that. Like, but she's just like, yeah, I'll be better next year. You know,
that's wild because she was leading the pro tour at one point,
right?
In points, and
I think she's like sixth best player in the U.S. or something like that, or sixth best player in PDGA, and like she's darn good.
Yeah,
she's really good. So I only expect her to do better next year, but I think she should get more attention. And did she officially announce her? Did she resign?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember if I
think
saw
she's up
anything.
this year.
That very well could be. I know she did. I thought she had signed a 1-year deal because she kind of wanted that.
She's smart.
Yeah, she wanted that kind of prove yourself. Mm-hmm. No, I haven't seen anything recently. Yeah. I mean, I think last year she signed. I mean, Squatch. She has a bag with. Yeah. She just announced what is BOGO Polos? Oh, that's at Flight Factory. So she's been with Flight Factory for a little while, but I haven't seen anything. It still says she's Discraft Elite Team on her page and everything. So, yeah. I mean, I would fully expect her to be back with Discraft.
Okay. And Kiefer, the third, is Supreme Flight.
Kevin? Oh.
Yeah, Kevin Kiefer. Supreme Flight, and he's working for Olympus.
Yes, I did hear that. So, okay. Yeah, I saw that announcement as well.
Yep. All right.
I wonder. Oh, that makes me wonder because wasn't Nick Carl?
Nick Carl.
Is he still working
there
for Paul too at
still
Olympus?
Working.
Okay.
Yep. He's the manager at Olympus.
Yeah.
So he's would you call him the pro?
Like the course pro?
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. You can say that. Yeah.
There you go. So Nick Carl's a course pro at Olympus. Mm-hmm. And Kiefer's there too. So it sounds like they got a pretty good crew.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And I don't think it's chess.com. It's Supreme Flight.
Supreme Flight, yep.
Yeah, so chess.com is not going to be the tour.
I feel like they would have got their full return on investment on that sponsorship.
Yeah?
I don't really think they would have because
I would guess that people would have definitely checked out chess.com and seen at least what it's about, disc golfers, because it's a pretty popular, it's the most popular chess site.
It's about chess. I don't know. But chess is just one of those games. Like, you either learn it at a young age or you just don't play it. You know, it's not something you pick up maybe when you're really old and retired, you start learning it. But
I had a phase when I was younger that I definitely, when Leroy's was still open.
The coffee shop.
The coffee shop.
Yeah.
I would, in high school, man, I would sit there and play chess with people quite
Really?
regularly. Yeah. I mean, I haven't played in a long time. It's funny, I was just down in our basement looking for some books and some other stuff. And I went through a box. I was like, oh, yeah, I have this chessboard. And I just found it. And it's a couple other different games like backgammon or something else with it, too. But I was like, oh, yeah, chessboard.
We have one sitting down there, and I've never opened the chess slot. Checkers, all about it.
Okay.
So, speaking of books, that's what we'll leave on.
Okay.
What is a book you recommend?
Oh, shoot.
Fiction, nonfiction, doesn't matter. Historical, autobiographical. Did I say autobiographical? I did.
Autobiographical. Autobiographical. Shoot, I forgot what the name of it is, but it is all about. It's at home. I can't think of the title. It's all about taking risks in things, whether it was talking about all these different. It was like, whether it was like it was different stories from like football, war, and it's all about these leaders assessing and taking risk and how it either.
I think I'm currently reading that book.
I don't know what it's like. How they either failed or succeeded based upon what happened with these, what their decisions were.
Yep.
Another book is I read that. I mean, for me, it's super interesting because was the autobiography of Sir Alex Ferguson, who was the longtime manager of Manchester United.
Okay.
Just one of the most successful managers to ever lead a team. So yeah, it was it was interesting for me. I'm trying to think of what, those are kind of the most recent ones. Yeah.
So I have, there's so many now that I'm walking through my book list here. I'm trying to find the one because I think I'm currently, or I just finished reading the one that you were reading, and I never remember names of books.
There's
like
another
titles.
cool one about how mathematics ties everybody together. And how math explains a lot of things in the world. I forgot what that was called.
Yeah.
Shoot.
So one of the ones that I really, really always love telling people about, and I think it's just because it's fun and enjoyable, it's a book called Shit My Dad Says.
Oh, I remember you talking.
Hilarious. Did I already mention him?
We talked, I think you mentioned it, but there was a show called that on TV for a short while. I never watched it.
It was. You're right. You're right. Yep. Is it called The Motive?
It could be.
Okay. And the other one is Unreasonable Hospitality. Just an absolutely wonderful book. Basically, if you have... anyways, it's essentially about a restaurateur that takes extra steps to make people feel good. But it's about customer service and hospitality and how we should really go above and beyond and kind of, giving the charitable assumption to most people, because especially in service industry and just in everyday life, people walk up sometimes and they're just punks.
Sure.
But realizing that it's not you, it's an experience that they've had that has put them into that mentality. There are Karens, there are Richards, but in general, most people aren't Karens or Richards. Like, it's just that there's something that went on. I mean, maybe their dad just died in a car accident. Maybe there's all these different things that could have happened.
Theory that you never know what anybody's really going through, so you just kind of have to treat everybody the same.
Exactly.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
So that's part of what the book is, but it talks about a lot of things. I'm just going about above and beyond and kind of recognizing things before they become issues. But it is an absolutely wonderful book. If you have any sort of leadership in your life as far as business or work or anything like that, or if you're in a team or anything, it really sets a good standard for how to operate. I mean, it's an awesome book. But so I'd say those two, Shit My Dad Says or Unreasonable Hospitality. So those are my two. And then one of the other ones I really enjoy, Have you ever? This is kind of a Relentless. Tim Grover. That's the one I was talking about. It wasn't Motive. It's Relentless.
Okay.
Is that the one you're reading?
It could be.
Okay. There is a book. Well, it's not a book. They've turned it into a book, but it was a movie, and then they ended up turning it into a book. But it's called Good Omens. So this is a nonfiction. Is that nonfiction, right? Like a story. But it's about like God and the devil living in the same place at the same time.
Oh,
and
okay.
They had a show.
It was on Amazon.
Yes.
Yep.
It was hilarious, and the book is fantastic.
Vaguely remember.
Yeah, and the book is absolutely fantastic. I don't know which one came first. I think the show was based on the book, but they're hilarious. The Good Omens books, like I think there's 3 of them total. Man, they're so good.
Okay.
They're so funny.
I do vaguely remember hearing those books. Yeah.
So, but that's it. So outside of that, anything inspirational to leave us on?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I think we said that last time too,
Yeah.
but happy anniversary to us.
Yeah, happy anniversary. So there is a lot more to cover. I'm sure we will most likely have an episode next week. Maybe not.
Probably.
I'm sure we will, because the disc golf world will be turned upside down.
Yeah, maybe by then.
Yeah.
The green flash, like in Pirates of the Caribbean, where like they go over the edge. And, like,
Yeah.
Everything flips upside down.
Yeah. Well, that would be weird though, because I feel like it'd be hard to record that way. Do you think the mics will pick us up?
I think so.
All right. Well, maybe a little extra popping. We might pass out halfway through it.
All the blood rushes our head. This is the last episode.
All right. And we will promise to do our bests. And our best isn't much, but I think we really should start doing these back on camera somehow.
I know. I was thinking about that too.
But I hate sitting there and you're sitting here and we can't have a dialogue.
I know.
Like,
right.
It sucks.
It does.
We'll try to figure something out.
And it's weird too because the audio is kind of delayed.
It is.
A little bit. So that was someone, I don't know who was, they left a comment on, I don't know what episode they listened to. And they're saying how when we take pauses, we should put some lo-fi music in between our pauses. And I was thinking about this, and we don't cut our audio recording or anything. So there's no pausing, and that just is a little more editing than I want to do. And I don't want to, sometimes if either of us, we take long time to think about things, it's really hard for me to go in and just even like the couple like milliseconds or whatever it is to edit and just get it down so precise like that. It's just kind of a lot of work.
It really is. And we've always been raw, uncut. Like, this is who we are. This is how we talk. I think when we started to do video, it was a little less because there was an AI feature that cut some of the dead points out of it. Sure. Which was nice. But then we were battling with the lag, which was... I hated it. I honestly hated it. Like, it made it less enjoyable to record. But I think we could figure it out. Yeah. And especially if like we're just sitting here talking and now there's just cameras on us, that's fine too. We got to figure something out. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah. And whether it's like one camera situation somehow, or I don't know what it's going to be, but
yeah, we can figure it. Because I know you have a GoPro. I got a GoPro. Yeah. And honestly, I know we've been flirting with the idea of buying a camera for Julie's. We might do that. I have an officially monetized social media account. Whoa. And we're actually making money. Whoa. I know.
Pennies on the video.
It is. So in November, we made $48.
Get out.
Yeah.
What? That's decent.
December, we're expected to make like $70 some.
Okay.
What? So
that is decent.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Is it appropriate to call me an influencer now?
Maybe.
I think so. Yeah. I think I'm an influencer. So with that being said,
you're somebody else.
It's someone else.
Yeah.
I just paid that person. Okay. I know. I'm just sitting there thinking like it's fun. I like the videos, but you know you've made it when you just start getting hate comments for no reason.
Oh, sure.
And that's what sucks about it. Like,
You want to hear something crazy?
I do.
Okay.
Please.
This is going along with the media thing. I had a TikTok video reach 1.1 million views.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And what was it?
So I was going to work one day and just going into Skipstone to get coffee, and there's people up on top of Al Johnson's gift shop mowing the roof. And I took a video, 15 seconds, however long it was, and I just captioned it, "The stuff I see in my small town."
Yeah.
And I put three hashtags. So it was like Door County and like something else.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden, someone saw it and liked it, and then they shared it. And then I was like, oh, that's cool. And they got up to like 500 likes. And by the end of one day, it got up to 500,000. And I was just
That's incredible.
I was like, no way. And then by the second day, it kind of slowed down, and then it picked back up and reached, I was like, 800,000. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, what's going on? This is like weird. I think of a lot of it's bots.
Oh, sure.
Like a ton of people, and there's a lot of comments, kind of all the same thing, like, oh, how'd they get up there, blah blah blah, whatever.
Yeah.
And I would respond to a couple, but then I was like, I can't do all this. It's,
No.
it's so many or whatever. So yeah, people still have been liking it and like putting it to their favorites and stuff. Yeah, it reached 1.1.
Cool.
And I was like, I'm wondering how. Now that you say that, I was like, I wonder how much money that would generate.
Well, so the videos we get, we average between the reels and the Facebook and then shorts, each one of them, I mean, we're in the tens of thousands almost always.
Oh, wow.
And we probably have every third video gets into the 400,000 to 700,000. And then we have probably three or
Dang.
four that are over a million.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And that's really all we're making.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to going into Facebook.
Yeah.
And because we're doing a lot of our SOPs, like standard operating procedures. So we're doing videos for those. And I'm
okay.
just like, the crap I watch on YouTube is stuff like that, where it's just some dude flipping a burger.
Yeah.
But he has a chest cam on. He has like a chest harness on.
Interesting.
Like, and I love watching like people do their daily tasks just with chest cams on. And I'm just like, well, that's what I'm doing for the videos for the SOPs, like piece of cheese on a burger, you know, and that's the standard operating procedure. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to turn them into shorts and start throwing them on YouTube.
Okay.
And just see where they go.
Yeah, right
and then we'll do shorts and reels and things like that. But it's actually surprising how we can have a video that'll do 2,000.
Yeah.
And then like the next day, a video, same quality, same everything. And these are just iPhone videos. We'll go like 2.3 million. And then the next day, the one will go 200,000. And then like, we have no clue what the pattern, reason, or rhyme is, but they are all over the place. But it was actually the reason we monetized. We never even thought about it because we just do them for entertainment.
Yeah.
And we started getting hecklers. Like over the past month and a half, we've been getting just this huge amount of people that are just like, this is stupid, this is dumb, blah, 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 commenting. And I'm just like, whatever, man. And finally one's like, well, somebody's like, why do you even do these videos? And then someone says, well, because they make money from them. And I was like, can I make money from these? And I looked, and I was like, and then Sandy's like, yeah, we can monetize them. And I was like, let's see if we can monetize them. And then sure enough, we got checks. And so I was like,
dang.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So that was fun. So
cool.
There you go. So if you hold your breath, you might have your dreams fulfilled. It was nothing I was ever even thinking would ever happen. It was just, we want to stay relevant. We want to stay fun. We want to entertain people. Like, that's all it is. Like, we're not, I mean, if you watch the videos, we never sell a thing. Like, we're not pushing products.
Yeah.
We're not, it's just like, we're goofing around.
Yeah.
And every once in a while you'll see me, but everybody on the staff, if they have an idea, we're like, let's go do the video. And then we just do the video.
Right on.
And it's 100% for entertainment. Like, it's essentially just for brand recognition.
Yeah.
You get to know our people, and our people are our brand, right? Mm-hmm. And they kill it. Like, it's awesome. So
Nice.
We're thinking what we might do. Sandy and I have talked about it a little bit, but we're thinking what we might do is at the end of the year, we'll just take all the earnings from that and then throw a big party for the employees.
Cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So, or we'll just, we already throw a big party for them, but maybe we'll do something. I don't know, do something special for them.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
yeah. But that's that. So, anything else?
No, that's it.
No. All right.
That's it. That's it.
Are we going to do this into 2 parts now? It's an hour and 40 minutes long.
No, because our last one was like hour and 20.
Oh, yeah.
We're not. It's not like we're Smashbox or 3 hours or
Tour Life
or yeah, some of those guys.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, deuces.
Yes.
Peace. Keep us up, Bar.